The Voice 17104.com. This is Zanetta Wingfield, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com. He said Monday, 8 Eastern. On the phone. 17104.com. Real rap, long circle. Real rap.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Good Monday evening, everybody. I told you all about 8:15, okay? Have things to do, you know. Some of us are retired, but we still stay busy and we still have part-time jobs. But anyway, how y'all doing out there? How y'all doing? Everybody feeling all right? Okay. Tonight, you know, well, matter of fact, it's over forum tonight, so I'm going to give you the telephone number in case you want to call in and talk about any subject of your choice. And the number is 717-889-7181. 717-889-7181. And the only guideline is no profanity. Please let me recognize the engineer, Pastor Chris Thomas. How you doing, sir?
Hey, my brother, top of the evening to you, man. It's always a blessing and an honor, brother, to be on this side of the microphone. Welcome back, bro.
Okay, brother. Thank you. And as always, I feel good being here. Okay, all right, y'all. So listen, we got a big election coming up in about a week or so, a week and a day, I guess a week from tomorrow here in Harrisburg. And so how do y'all feel about some of the candidates running? Let me preface this by saying that no candidate has thus far placed an ad on the program or even at the station. So therefore, we're not promoting any candidate. You know, this is a one hand wash the other world, you know. And so, but what I'm going to do though, since I'm not a real mean spirited person like that, I'm gonna give any candidate that want to call in, I give you 5 minutes to state your case about why voters should elect you for that office that you're vying for. Okay, 5 minutes, all right? And again, the number is 717-889-7181. Okay, my pastor got a saying, he says that it's a sorry frog that can't praise his own pond. So if you want to call in and tell people, or if there's a surrogate, surrogate that's representing a candidate, let everybody in Harrisburg know why they should vote, why we should vote for you. Okay, so some candidates probably say, well, why place an ad on that show? Who watches that show? Well, it's probably someone just like you. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Chris Thomas?
Yes, sir.
All right, you know, like last week, I had mentioned about the different offices that's on the ballot tomorrow, you know, for the general election. I mean, on the ballot next week, a week from tomorrow. I stand corrected myself. Okay, and I said that school directors were without compensation. You know, it's surely a labor of love. And so, you know, we happen to look up some of the other, some of the salaries for the compensated positions. And I think that what I saw was for Harrisburg City Council, you know, which that is basically a part-time job, I believe, probably full-time work, but probably officially part-time job for the public. I know they have a public forum, I think it's every Tuesday, Pastor Chris Thomas.
Okay.
Tuesday, I believe, from 5 to 7. And then they have committee meetings, and then they have meetings, special meetings where you can come in and talk about talk on pertinent topics, you know, when they invite the public to come in. For instance, if they brought up something about the crime, like a little mini crime summit, then your input is very, very welcome there. Okay, and I think that what I saw was that and plus, mind you, they just like teachers, you know, there's like a 2 or 3 month, I believe a 2-month hiatus during the summer months. But that pay as of 2006, which I think that you know, we can all agree that it's probably been increased since then. That pay was $20,000 a year, you know, $20,000, Pastor Thomas.
Okay.
Most of the city council members that I've known do maintain full-time jobs, or they have some other legitimate means of income. Now, when we move up to other offices such as magistrates and judges in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, their pay ranges from $170,000 to $215,000 a year, Pastor Thomas.
Okay.
They say that the average pay for a magistrate or a judge in Pennsylvania is $178,500 annually. Okay, so at that rate, we say $170,000 a year, a 6-year term. That magistrate, that judge, whoever holds that position is likely, matter of fact, realistically, they would end up being a millionaire. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
So it's $1 million position, $1 million position over the course of that term. And Pastor Thomas, let me ask you, what would you do if you were in a position to recoup $1 million for your employee, and you had a chance to vie for that, to contest for that?
I'd make sure I put my work in. I'd make sure I wouldn't foul it up, brother. And I'd make sure I get some qualified people to help me with that assignment as well.
Absolutely right. One hand wash the other. And I tell you what I would do. If I had a chance of recouping $1 million over a term, I think I would mortgage my house, Pastor Thomas. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, sure.
If I felt that I had a legitimate chance of winning, I would go so far as mortgage my house, because I know that I would need good qualified people to work as my surrogates and to work on my campaign along with me. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
You know, and so I want to ask y'all out there, you know, what do you think is adequate pay or acceptable pay for a campaign worker working the polls on election day? You know, I think one reason why George Hartwick, who's running for re-election as a Dauphin County Commissioner, I think one reason why he continually wins, one of the reasons, is that he floods the polling places with poll workers, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
You know, and you know, I mean, they're out there from the beginning of the polling hours until closing. And you know, also, you know, they have someone come by and bring them lunch during the day. You know what I'm saying, Pastor
Sure.
Thomas? You know, it might be a couple of Big Macs, it might be a Hardee's sandwich or something. You know, so they feed them and at least give them a box lunch. And I think that he was paying upwards of $150 for that day, Pastor Thomas.
Wow.
$150 for that day. Now, I can, you know, and so that's what the campaign funds are for, and that's what the war chest is for, Pastor Thomas.
Okay.
And so he always makes sure that you know, his campaign makes sure that they have that on hand, you know, to pay the workers that work at the polling places. And you go by any polling place next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, rather, on November the 7th, a week from tomorrow, and you're liable to see 2 or 3 workers out there at the polling place advertising George Hartwick. Okay, now let's go to state representative, because I believe that's a state senator. Someone told me Patty Kim is running for state senator, Pastor Thomas, or either she's about to run, but we looked up that pay rate, and that's like $170,000, $180,000 a year, you know. And the same thing for county commissioners. You know, I think that was around $180,000 or $190,000 a year, you know. And so, you know, you should have this information. You should know this information. You know, these people that want to represent you, you know, you got to really use your conscience and use your heart and try to delineate whether or not they're trying to do that for you or they're trying to do that for themselves, you know. Sure. And all that's true and all that's real, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, what I would say, Pastor Thomas, if I was running for a seat, you know, which I had two unsuccessful runs, because I didn't have the funding to adequately run the campaign, and the contributions were low. I thank God for those that did contribute, and but I was paying like $10 an hour, $10 an hour, for people, and these were people, generally people that I were akin to, people that I knew, friends, and people like that. And so, I offered them if they would accept $10 an hour, and several of them did. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
I think I might have only had probably about 6 or 7 campaign workers, you know what I'm saying? And I found myself, I had a whole lot of folks that said that they would volunteer, everybody talk a good game, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
To the rubber hits the road, volunteers, you cannot depend on volunteers because it all depends on if they feel like it at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? You say you're going to try to do something and can people join in? Everybody would say, okay, good, count me in today.
Sure.
But then when tomorrow comes, well then, I don't know. I would, but you understand what I'm saying? But when you're compensating people, when you are paying people for their time and for their efforts to help your campaign, well then I think you get more of a response. You understand what I'm saying,
Sure,
Pastor Thomas?
sure.
If people are doing something for you, you always got so many of them that'll turn around and throw it up in your face. Look what I did. Look what I did.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But like I say, it's a one hand watch the other world, and some people know that, and some people get a chance to learn that. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Right.
And so I don't think imagine if I got $2,000 in contributions, or if I saved up $2,000 for that particular election day, then I could hire 20 people.
Sure.
You understand? 20 people, at $10 an hour, but like I say, those are the people that you can really turn around and depend on, and ask to be there, and ask them why they weren't there when they agreed to be in there, because that's a business transaction. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Right.
As one hand washes the other. You know what I'm saying? And I would do so even if I ran for, as a matter of fact, I did that when I ran for city council, Pastor Thomas, and I ended up getting elected, for another office. I ended up getting elected for a magistrate. I know, not for a magistrate, but for a constable. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's the only election that I won. I ran for city council twice, and I ran for magisterial district judge twice in the seat that Judge Solomon held. He was retiring, Pastor Thomas, and it was about 4 or 5 of us that was vying for that seat. Roy Chris is one of the names, that I remember, and there were a few other, that I can't remember right now, having a little George Bush moment. But that was the particular seat that used to sit over here on Front Street. They ended up getting closed down, that particular magisterial office, because the county and state has said that they were going to try to consolidate some seats, which they did. So they eliminated that seat. But anyway, during the interim, they ended up closing that seat down mid-election, Pastor Thomas.
Wow.
Right before the primary. After a lot of people had spent a lot of money and effort. After they got on the ballot, and they were out campaigning, we're all out campaigning, and trying to win that particular seat, and they end up denying 6,000 voters in that particular district a chance to vote for their own magistrate. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Right.
And so some of those people got sent over to the courtroom that Marcia Stewart used to sit at, and some got sent over to Barbara Pianca's courtroom, Pastor Thomas. And I never will forget that there were some city officials that did not even speak out. They did not even speak out in favor of the candidates, who had a fair chance, who should have had a legitimate chance to run for that particular seat. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
None of them said anything. And I was bringing this up. George Hardwick said he said something at one of the commissioner meetings. But he was the only one that I heard that from, and I still think him to this day if he did. But the mayor did not say anything. And mayor at that time, I believe, was Linda Thompson. And the Harrisburg City Council did not say anything. I went down there and I tried to bring it up during the public participation session, and I was cut off and cut down, and I was told, well, everybody already knew about it, but see, didn't nobody really know about it from one of the candidates' perspectives. You know what I'm saying? And so what we did, the 5 or 6 of us, we pooled our money together, and we sued the Dauphin County Election Commission. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas? And then it went up to, then it went up to the chain. Then it went up the chain. We ended up suing the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Pastor Thomas. We sued the Pennsylvania Supreme Court,
Sure.
And that went to, I think, the 13th Court of Appeals in Philadelphia. And they, and they were hearing the case, and then they denied us, and we weren't go further. But at that point, their legal bills were over $30,000, so we all just tucked our tails and got on our horse and rode off into the sunset. But I'm saying that to say that running for election, that's a business proposition, and it's a financial endeavor, especially if you got something waiting for you at the end of it. You understand what I'm saying,
Sure.
Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
Because ain't nobody doing these jobs for free, except for school board members, and they should get some sort of material benefit out of it. I know it's a labor of love, from the heart. It's got to be, but at least they should get some kind of parking pass or something. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
They should. I don't know if they get any kind of perks whatsoever, but like I say, that's a job when you really, really got to be in it because you want to be in it. And I salute all them. And that's why we always give them carte blanche campaign time here during the program, Pastor Thomas. As we have contributed to many other candidates, and it's not me saying, look what I did, look what we did, nothing like that. But we did make space, I think for a couple of months, for any candidate to come in to have a 5-minute on-air session to let people know that they were running and to let people know why they should receive those folks' votes, so we did do that. So, as far as community interest, I think that we played our part, Pastor Thomas. We played our part.
Sure.
Okay, y'all. So no one has called in. If you want to call in, if you dispute anything I said, or if you want folks to recognize your candidate, the number is 717-889-7181. 717-889-7181. I had a message I saw last week, Pastor Thomas, and I did not see it till after the program when I was watching the replay. So let me know if these sort of comments come in. Someone asked me if I was going to speak about the UAW strike, and so they had an opportunity, which they still have an opportunity to call in and speak about it, if they choose. And these were this was an auto worker, incidentally, and so if you want to call in, matter of fact, I think I saw online about 20 minutes ago that there was some tentative agreement reached today. If so, well, I salute that. I salute y'all, and I hope that y'all really, really benefit from that, because Lord knows, these heads of these different auto plants, they get all kind of bonuses, they get all kind of bonuses, and that trickle down effect seems like it gets stuck right after upper management. Wow. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you want to call in and let us know what the issues are, and what y'all were striking about, and if what was offered or has been offered, is that adequate or are you going to vote to accept it, or if you're going to vote to reject it? Inquiring minds want to know. So you can call in and let us know at 717-889-7181. Okay, all right. And a shout out to the viewers there. And listen, I'm gonna tell you something else. Sometimes people get dismayed when they look at a video and they see a number of views, and then they start thinking this, they start thinking that. Well, don't let that interfere with the truth. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor
Yes,
Thomas?
sir.
Because when did Facebook change their system, Pat?
I had it about a year or two ago, maybe.
Okay. And see, what happens is that now Facebook wants you to buy into their program to buy views. You can spend so many dollars. I think I saw at one point when they sent the ads that you spend $45 a month, and they would guarantee you like 1,500 or 2,000 views per your video. And Pastor Thomas, back during the time when we were getting a lot of trolling comments and stuff like that, I think you investigated some of the views, and what did you find?
Sure, found out they were recently created accounts. So they were either dummy accounts where they were just opened in the last week or, last month or so, or they were accounts that had no history. There was no other posts, there was no other friends on their page, no other activity. So they're just recently created or dummy or fraud accounts.
Okay, so you heard it from the pastor. You heard from Pastor Thomas, okay, and he has no reason to lie. You know what? But listen, so don't be confused with what you see, because there's a lot that you won't see, because some of us are not gonna pay for views. We don't believe in that kind of trickery, that kind of fraud. Okay, you say, well, how somebody else, well, you're watching, and I don't think that you're the only person that feel the way you do. Okay, and we appreciate you and everybody else that take time to tune in. And Chris Thomas,
Yes, sir.
I want to give a shout out and a play to another podcaster here at the Voice 17104, who may be on a little hiatus from the studio, because of a medical situation. But that's the dean of the comedians, here in Pennsylvania, and that's podcast host Kenny Robb from Kenny's Corner. Okay, as y'all know, as I say, he's the dean of comedians in Pennsylvania, and he's appearing in a comedy show. And Chris Thomas, would you read the particulars, please?
Let's see if we can pull it up here. It says Kenny Robb performing Saturday, 11/11, 23, 8:30 p.m. at the Laughing Stock Comedy Club, and that's in Granville, Pennsylvania. Doors open at 7:30. Harrisburg and surrounding areas, get ready to laugh. Kenny Robb and some others are going to be in the house.
Okay, all right, okay, that's a great Kenny Robb. Hope y'all will give him a play. He's a uptown legend, Kenny Robb, and he hosts Kenny's Corner, which I know a lot of y'all like, and so I hope y'all will go out and support Kenny Robb on the 11th of November. And what's the address again, Pastor Thomas?
I just closed it out. It's in Granville.
Okay.
And it's posted on his page as well.
Okay, it's posted on his page, and it's going to be posted on my page also. And I understand that ticket price is $20, and $20 won't make you holler. You know what I'm saying? And so I hope you go out and support a worthy cause. And that's shout out to Kenny Robb. And something else, we got to get his sister on the program. His sister wrote a book called Why Have Dog and Bark?
Yes,
Why
sir.
Have Dog and Bark? Okay. And I believe that I heard her, I've been interviewed, I think she said that's like a Jamaican old, an old Jamaican saying, it's like, why have this if you got to do it yourself? you know. And
sure.
so a lot of y'all are in that situation right now, why have a man if he can't not help you with anything, at least give you peace of mind,
Wow.
and why have a woman if she can't do anything, if she don't know how to cook, she don't know you. Well, yeah, and this might sound kind of sexist, and I don't mean it. I don't mean it that way. But you understand what I'm saying. You get the drift of what I'm saying.
Sure.
And so anyway, so we hope to have her on the program sometime in the near future, and so we'll be reaching out. We'll be reaching out to her, and my phone here is acting up and it's giving me all kind of ads and things that I really don't care to see, and it won't let me. Delete it here in the middle of the broadcast. And so if you're watching that particular camera, well, then there's another one on there coming from the station on the same page. So I hope you just look at the other one, the main video that's coming from The Voice 17104. And as you see, I got on my Lions gear. I'm still rocking with my home team,
Yes,
the Detroit
sir.
Lions. I tell you, a team I follow way back when, from probably the age of about 14. And we had some good teams, but most of the time we had sorry teams. Matter of fact, until lately, the only team, and show you just how bad Detroit Lions have been. We've been basement dwellers in the NFC for the longest, and we probably really haven't had a team since Barry Sanders played. We only went to one playoffs, which a lot of y'all like to rub it in our face, and I think that was in 1991, and we did not get past the first round. Well, I'm going to tell you, this season, thank goodness, Detroit fans have something to roar about, and so, I tell you, I'm still supporting my team, my home team, the Detroit Lions, and so they'll be on tonight. About as soon as we get off from this program. And tonight I'm calling this game the redemption game. That's right, the redemption game, because Detroit Lions had garnered a lot of respect, during the early part of the season, during the first 4 or 5 games. As a matter of fact, we started out by beating the Kansas City Chiefs. That was our first victory, the first game of the season. I believe that was on Thursday Night Football. And then we ran into a bump in the road, with the Seahawks. They beat us. And then last week, doggone it, escaped my mind. Y'all know who beat us last week, and so so we lost to the Seahawks, and we lost to another team, and hopefully we've gotten all the losing out of the way, and now we can go for the victories, and so we're 5-2 right now before the game, and hopefully after the game it's going to be 6-2. And so I hope y'all will enjoy the game. And some of y'all might not even see this till after the game. If that is the fact, I hope that we did well. Chris, give me a quick little like 30-second interlude. Let me run over here and get something, and I'll be right back. Okay. Harrisburg. Harrisburg.
Hi, this is Rajette Harris, Chair of the Dauphin County Democratic Committee. You are now listening to Real Rap with Ron Chappell here on The Voice, every Monday night, 8 to 10 p.m.
This is Kiana, and you are listening to Real Rap with Ron Chappell on The Voice, 17104.com.
This is Nicole Mount with Positive Force Experience on The Real Rap with the Ron Chappell Show, every Monday, 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time on The Voice, 17104.com.
Trials and tribulations, yeah, we all go through. Life's ups and downs, yeah, we all go through. Heartbreaks and setbacks, yeah, we all go through. You ain't going through it alone, cause I'm going through it too. That everyday struggle, yeah, we all go through. Getting knocked down, yeah, we all go through. The pain of a loss, yeah, we all go through. You just keep your head up and know that God ain't through. Yeah, this your man Jay Bear, and you're now listening to Real Rap with Ron Chappell on The Voice, 17104.com. Every Monday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. Tune in.
Thank you, Chris.
This message has been paid for by candidate for mayor, Anthony.
Okay, yeah, but that's history right there, you know. There's history. That was an old ad, you know, but I still salute Brother Harrell, you know, because he did do business with the station, and he's always been a supporter, and so we thank him for that too. We thank him for that. Well, anyway, like I say, okay. Hey, listen, in Harrisburg tomorrow, Halloween is being celebrated, you know, and so I got a question for y'all. First of all, I want to ask if you allow your children to go out and celebrate or participate in Halloween. Okay, the second question I have with that on that subject is, did you participate? Let me turn this down. Did you participate during Halloween as a child? So what are your views on that? Okay, Pastor Thomas, let me begin with you, sir.
Sure. Actually, I did celebrate Halloween in ignorance when I was a youth. And actually, there were actually haunted houses and Halloween parties at a lot of the churches that we attended, not just trunk or treat, but actual haunted houses and Halloween parties. They weren't called harvest festivals, they were Halloween parties at churches. You're talking about some almost 35, 40 years ago.
Right.
And I think things have drastically changed. I mean, it's the same old message. You know, it's the same old things that God gave us life to deliver us and to rescue us from. You know, the Bible talks about staying away from the appearance of evil. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle ground, because I mean, you can't reach and minister to people like that if you can't get close to them. So I think there's a way you could be a part of it but not be of it. But there's a very thin line that you should cross, and your witness should remain pure when you go and when you leave. And I think that's one of the pieces that a lot of people fail in when they try to go to these events and still take part of them, that their light isn't shining for the Christ they say they love and represent, in my estimation.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your opinion on the matter. And you know, what I would say, okay, first, let me ask you, do you think you turned out all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. You know, I wrote a post where I said that I think it's kind of hypocritical if there are parents that would not allow their young ones to participate in the Halloween so-called festivities, if that parent themselves as a child went out and participated. You know, I think that it would be kind of hypocritical. Now, I know children are, I'm not saying ignorant. I don't mean it in a mean way. Ignorant only mean that you don't know. Children are not aware of certain things when they're children. And so I can understand how a person progresses from that, and then they get into adulthood or early adulthood, and they start learning about, you know, bad forces and about negative forces and things like that. And they get into the church, and they get into the mosque, they get into the synagogue, and they turn their back on the idea of taking part in something like a Halloween, a holiday or Halloween festival, if you will. But I maintain that when these people were younger, they went out, they frolicked about, and they went on trick or treat, you know, like, and all this kind of stuff. And they went to Halloween parties, and so then they grew later in life, and they found out the truth. They found out that was not something worthwhile when they got older. You know, I think that children should be allowed to experience that same degree of growth. Same degree of growth. I think that it's bad. Well, like I'm not saying don't tell your children the truth. I'm saying that there are certain things that children, as part of their growing process, find out about, and sometimes feel left out when they can't participate the way all of their friends do and all their other classmates do. Well, I know you're saying, well, it's not your responsibility how someone else or what someone else allow their child to participate in. And I know why a lot of church-minded people frown on the idea, the concept of Halloween, because of all the ghouls and goblins and like an enemy, those kind of images. But I want to remind you that that's not just what Halloween is about. Because there are a lot of other different type of costumes, that kids wear or kids can wear. Some people dress up as clowns, for instance. Some people dress up as police officers, firemen, so on and so forth. It's not all ghoulish, is what I'm saying. It's not all ghoulish. It's not all, like promoting evil or Satan or anything like that. But it's a personal decision. That people have to make for their own households. But do you have any input or anything you want to say about that particular subject? If so, give us a call at 717-889-7181. That's 717-889-7181. Hey, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a guest in the studio, and he's an occasional podcaster here at The Voice 17104. And we know him as now Camouflage Chris Williams.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that all right if I call you Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, how you doing this evening, brother?
How you doing, Brother Ron Chapel?
Oh, blessed, just like you. Blessed, just like you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's been happening? Are you still doing your podcast? And if so, what's the name of it? And what are the what's the time slot for your podcast?
Well, for everybody out there in Radio Land, Brother Ron Chapel, I was doing the Church Repentance show. I haven't did that in about 2 years. Now I'm doing this new show called Boots to the Ground.
Boots on the ground?
Boots to the ground.
Oh, Boots to the ground.
It's basically a podcast where I interview up and coming street evangelists, and we talk about evangelizing.
Okay.
And how to evangelize and how to equip them to evangelize.
Yeah, I know. I've seen videos of you along with Pastor Chris and Pastor Melissa Hall Thomas out on the street corners evangelizing.
Yes, sir.
And so you find that worthwhile. Do you get a good response from the public, or do you get a lot of hesitation or people that are skeptics?
I get a lot of positive response, from a lot of people in ministry. But people always tell me, don't give up. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing by doing God's will. And I appreciate everybody who encouraged me to keep going in the will of God. But with evangelizing, I think that's the Great Commission. The Great Commission is to go out and win souls. The Bible even says, "He who wins souls is wise," and that's what our commission is to do. Is to go out and evangelize. And the Bible even said to return to your first love.
Right.
Our first love is God, but as far as ministry is evangelizing.
Okay. Now, what are some of your views about this Halloween issue that I just brought up? And first, let me ask you, when you were a child, when you were like an adolescent, a preteen, did you participate in trick-or-treating on Halloween?
Yes, I did. And Halloween, it was fun, as a kid.
Okay.
But but as I'm grown, The Bible even says, "When I was a child, I was a child."
You
But when
thought
I
you thought
became
it
a
was
man,
a
I
child.
put away childish things.
Okay,
One of
okay,
the childish things is Halloween.
okay. Do you think that it's fair to let children grow along that same way? To
Uh,
you know, to experience the things that you know that a lot of other kids find fun now to be involved in, and then give them a chance to grow out of it.
yeah. I mean, when you're a child, you don't know no better.
Right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know, as you get older, you will understand and realize that this is not what we're supposed to be doing.
Right, okay, 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 fair.
It comes with growth and understanding.
Okay, fair, fair. Now let me ask you both, do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Chris, do you?
To an extent.
to it.
And it's just like Christmas in my estimation. For years I was really well, I mean, I started off, really loving Christmas as all kids do. And then you grow up, you hear about, the pagan tradition of Christmas, so you become bah humbug. But anytime you can really get together with family, I think we should take advantage of that. So for the family aspect, not necessarily, celebrating pilgrims and the Indians, which I'm sure aren't that happy about the concept of Thanksgiving. You know, to an extent, as far as, the family aspect, and you don't know who may not be at Thanksgiving or Christmas next year. So not taking away that opportunity to gather with family and friends, and also to make, special memories. There's some things that, that I won't do, but I don't want to discourage people either way. But it's important for us to be truth tellers in the middle of it all.
Okay, Chris.
My thing is, I mean, it's like any other holiday, like Thanksgiving. You should be thankful every day. You shouldn't wait till November to be thankful.
Right.
Like birthdays.
Right.
Every day God wakes you up is your birthday. You shouldn't wait till your commercial birthday or your calendar birthday to thank God for waking you up. You should be thankful don't wait till the holidays. I mean, I don't have nothing wrong with holidays, but don't wait till the holiday comes around to thank God.
Okay, agreed. What I was getting at is that very few people know about the historical content behind what we commemorate as Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And so aside from the family gathering, and thanking God for his bountiful blessings and always in all kind of good ways,
yes,
and seeing us through difficult times throughout that year, there's an ugly side to it also, because a lot of those Native Americans, that welcomed the pilgrims over,
right,
a lot of them end up not only perishing but also being outright murdered. A lot of women were raped. A lot of the Native Americans were killed from diseases that were
right,
brought over on the Mayflower, and so on and so forth, and so on. I mean, a lot of them that were brought over, and a whole lot of these, a lot of diseases, that were brought here, and a lot of people perished. And and so we heard the story about how the Indians welcomed the pilgrims, and and they had a big feast and everything, and the real story behind it, a lot of these pilgrims end up getting drunk at the end of that feast, and they start actually chopping Indians' heads off and kicking them along the road, and that may be the origin of the football on Sunday. They were using the Indians' heads as footballs as they kick their skulls around, like around the road. And we know that the sort of a theme bird of Thanksgiving is what? A turkey, right?
right.
And I think metaphorically that there's a joke behind that they're calling these Native Americans turkeys, because they invited us in, they fed us. And then what do? We turn around, we slaughtered them, we raped their women, and we stole their land, we stole their stuff, you know, and so therefore they are the turkeys, you know, and you often heard a turkey is the dumbest animal on earth, you know. They say a turkey, it could be raining or falling on a turkey's head, the turkey will hold his head up, you know, with his mouth open and actually drown itself, you know, looking at the water coming down. And so, like I say, you know, people have no problem with, you know, with buying and cooking and eating turkeys, you know, like on Thanksgiving, you know, thinking that you know, I mean, they're looking at the family togetherness side of it, but there's another story behind it also. And so they're not celebrating that the other part of that particular so-called holiday. And I don't think that the kids are really celebrating or you know, celebrating the ghoulish side of Halloween. So, you know, it's a matter for each household to decide. You about to say something before we close out?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the words of my old pastor, you know, he used to always say, God's gonna have the last word, you know.
Well, all the time anyway.
You know, with everything going on with Halloween and all these other, you know, so-called pagan holidays, you know, God's gonna have the last word with everything.
Yes. But we have a free and open mind to choose the road that we travel, you know, and you know, what's important to you may not be important to someone else, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm gonna tell you folks, the time on the wall say that's all for tonight's Real Rap with Ron Chapel show. We gave everybody an opportunity to call in, you know, you chose not to, and so all I can say is that we offered, and so we're going to bid everybody a good night, and I hope that the children that you allow, the children that are out there that will be out trick-or-treating tomorrow, and if you participate as a child and you receive candy, fruit candy from other people when you were a child, well then fair play is no robbery. It'd be good if you had something on hand in case some little trick-or-treaters knocked on your door or rang your bell tomorrow. So I hope they be safe. I hope everybody be safe, stay safe, and I hope to go home and watch my Detroit Lions improve their record to 6-2. So thanks everybody for watching. God bless you all, and good night. Go Lions.